Now, up next, we have another presenter. We will hear from Mr. Damien Tham, the Business Development Manager from GPEX Malaysia, to share with us the potential of microlearning in teaching a mixed ability classroom. So please help me to welcome Mr. Damien.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar, and thank you for spending some time with us today. So looking back from year 2020 until this year, it has been tough for everyone, isn't it? I believe the pandemic has affected all of us in the education industry and, of course, greatly impacted the preschools. So when the first lockdown happened, I believe most of us here went into a panic mode. The very first thing that GPEX did is to schedule some Zoom meetings with all our customers to see how we could help. GPEX, being the total ELT solutions provider, aim to help teachers lessen their burden in teaching the English language subject during pandemic. Many teachers had to teach via Zoom or Google Classroom for the first time, and it wasn't easy, we know that. So therefore, we created some teaching videos called the GPEX Learning Series, where our teachers pre-recorded the teaching videos for our partners to share among all their teachers. Teachers just had to play the video in class and facilitate the learning via Zoom. With the support from Cambridge University Press, GPEX was able to provide presentation class and exercises to all our partners. And with Presentation Plus, teachers don't have to prepare slides in PowerPoint to teach their lessons. Pandemic has transformed almost every aspect of our lives. And now it seems the education system around the world are due for an update. We should all look into the ways to redesign the whole education experience with the help of technology, since the acceptance level in tech is much higher now if compared to the pre-pandemic time. So normally when we talk about EdTech, many have the perception of EdTech being just a technology tool, a device, or a platform to host the contents. But actually, EdTech is much more than that. Digital learning products should lead by pedagogy and supported by technology. So I believe every teachers here are teaching mixed ability classroom. There will always be a mixture of strong and weak students in your class. However, teachers are also using the same textbook which contain the same set of exercise to teach this mixed ability group of learners. Teachers would need time and extra resources to help those weak students. But teachers don't have much time. We all know that. Teachers are busy and they would also have to move on with the lesson. Teachers also need to complete the syllabus within a specific time frame, especially in Asia. So it is definitely a very challenging process to progress all learners by using the same teaching content in a mixed ability classroom. We will want to explore the possibility of integrating pedagogy and technology to solve this underlying problem. We are considering of using microlearning as a method to help teachers teach learners with different abilities and to give students a better learning experience. Well, microlearning isn't a new term. It is used extensively in working environment for working adults. So what is microlearning? Microlearning is a flexible learning approach that can be used in a variety of ways to enhance individual performance. Microlearning means learning in small steps. It is supposed to be short in duration, focusing only on a specific concept or skill. For example, giving more support to learners when they don't understand on a specific concept. Now, in return, we will be getting our desired results. Many might have the misconception of microlearning. Microlearning is not a replacement for learning in classroom. While it may be tempting to replace all e-learning with microlearning, but young learners would still have to be taught by a teacher to learn well. Microlearning cannot be used as a standalone solution, but it can be very effective when we use it as a part of a blended approach. Now, it can also be used to supplement your existing learning program. Microlearning is also not about dividing large content into small pieces. By doing this, it will only prolong the learning journey. For example, instead of using 2 lessons to complete 1 unit, now we have to use 4. That's certainly not possible. Students must progress to the next level after a year. Microlearning is also not about simplifying the content and feed the content into a smaller duration. For example, using 40 minutes to introduce 6 animals, words. Let's cut down to using 10 minutes. Can your student learn and master in 10 minutes? That's not possible too. Now, I have also shared earlier that microlearning has a variety of ways. So this does not limit to only using videos. Now, here are some examples of the microlearning. It can be in a wide variety of forms, videos, like for example, videos, interactive tools, ebooks. Now, let's talk about the benefits of microlearning. We can use microlearning to reduce cognitive overload. Now, what is cognitive overload? Cognitive overload happens when learners are unable to process all the information taught by the teacher in the classroom. All classroom courses are designed to match the average pace of learning in the room. While this generally works, it also means that fast learners can lose interest in the content, while slower learners fall behind and must learn in their own time. Microlearning eliminates this problem because learners can study the content at their own pace and skip modules they have already mastered. So learning should be designed in a way to change students' learning behavior. With learner-centric approach, learning becomes highly personalized. Now, think back to the last time you learned something in the classroom setting. There were some concepts you grabbed quickly and some you may not. You might need more time to understand it. So microlearning nuggets appeal to learners as they empower them and give a high control in defining a personalized and flexible learning path. Now, the varied formats used to create these nuggets are more likely to match individual learning styles. And retention of concept is also very important in learning. We need students to be able to apply what we have taught them, right? And learning will take place when students can adapt and relate to what they have learned. This will be less time consuming and help to motivate, engages the learners, and of course, ultimately deliver the successful learning outcome. Here are some functions of microlearning. Of course, I will share some examples to give you a better picture of this process. So now let us imagine that this is the result we would want to achieve. We aim for learners to achieve the CFR level pre-A1 level, by the age of 7, since they will be exposed to CFR in primary, in Malaysia especially. So like what Graham has shared earlier, now this is a very clear set guide and can-do statement to highlight what can students do when they achieve in the pre-A1 level. Now here's the example of the CFR pre-A1 level can-do statement for reading and writing skills. Now, and in order to achieve the CFR pre-A1 can-do statement, we need to determine what students need to do to achieve pre-A1 level in reading and writing. We will then have to break this down into specific learning outcomes. And here are some of the examples of the learning outcome. Now let's imagine again that we would want to achieve these 3 learning outcomes in our upcoming lesson. I'll break this down into several different tasks for demonstration purpose. Now, I extract these learning materials from Cambridge University Crest Fund for Starters. Now, we will need a task to teach to achieve the learning outcome. Now, let's look at task 1. This is a vocabulary task related to the home theme. Students would have to fill in and match the home-related words to the picture. Through this task, learners will be able to recognize the meaning of words by relating them to visuals. Now, let's look at task 2 again. Let's look at task 2. From task 1, this has progressed to another part where students would have to read simple questions and fill in the homework. Through this task, students will be able to read and write short answer. From task 2, this has gradually progressed to a much complex activity. Now, here's task 3. Through this task, students will be able to comprehend a short text. So from task 1 to task 3, I would like to use this opportunity to highlight that in English language teaching and learning, while it is important to teach students vocabulary fundamentally, it is more important for students to have the ability to use the language in a context through various activities. Therefore, it is not about the number of words they learn. It is whether students can relate the word they learn for better retention of concept. Learning vocabulary through constant drilling, memorizing, and just knowing how to spell the words without knowing the meaning will just contribute to cognitive overload. Now, in return, we are not able to achieve a good learning outcome. Let's imagine again that you are teaching the previous 3 tasks to this class, to your class. In reality, most teachers would have to teach in a mixed ability classroom. Now, microlearning can be used within a blended learning framework. Teachers can use microlearning in pre-lesson to introduce a new topic, or during lesson to assist teachers to teach a new topic, or even using post-lesson for micro-assessment purpose. Let us now imagine that we are teaching task 1 with the help of microlearning video during lesson. In this teaching video, we have a teacher teaching all the rooms in the house remotely. With the help of the teaching video, teachers in the physical class do not have to teach and explain all the rooms of the house to students. To check their understanding, teacher can proceed with the activities from the textbook. Teachers can be facilitating the class through monitoring of the students' progress as well. Now, to link back to functions of microlearning, the books and videos are formed, which we will obtain our task from. Now, let's say through the teaching videos activities, you found that only 2 out of 10 students managed to get all correct answers. The teachers can then proceed to help the other 8 students in class. Now, half of the class, you imagine, half of the class have fully mastered the contents, but we have another half that are still not able to understand. Now, it is clearly that not possible for teachers to reteach this same content in the class again. So what are the solutions? This is where microlearning can be used to help these students. Now, students can rewatch the teaching video repeatedly, and there will be several different tasks for students to complete and to reassess their learning as well. Now, I think it is time for us to rethink our curriculum and syllabus. Now, instead of asking learners to fit to our system, why don't our system fit that? Now, like what Andrew shared in the webinar, we have to make teachers be part of the design of the learning product and the technology. GPEX is having a pilot run in Q1 next year for preschool and the students to explore the potential of microlearning. We would like to experiment a learner-centric model of blended learning with microlearning as a supplemental strategy to support the learning in mixed ability classroom. Now, we welcome preschool operators to join us in this pilot run. All the contents will be hosted on Campus LMS. You and your students are required, to participate in the testing and provide us the feedback. And of course, we will evaluate the students' progress together. Currently, the pilot run is available to preschool only, but of course, we will have a pilot run for primary learners later. If you are learning center and interested in joining the pilot run, please register your interest as well, and we will contact you when the pilot run is available. The 3-month pilot run will be fully funded by GPEX. So last but not least, we hope all of you can share your challenges in teaching mixed ability classroom with us via the link shown on the screen. We will be sharing this link in Zoom chat box and Telegram channel as well. And for preschool or learning centers operators who wish to participate in the pilot run, please tick yes on question 5 when filling the survey form. Here's the end of my sharing today. Before I go, let me show you a sneak peek of one of the components that you will get to try out during the pilot run. And I'll see you in the panel discussion later.
Hello everyone, my name is Jason.
And I'm Jenny.
Now together, we are the content creators
For Friend and Family
English Learning Series. We strongly believe that learning English should be fun, enjoyable, effective, and at the same time rewarding. These beliefs have then led us to develop this particular series that will be ideal for our young learners on their path to learning English.
We designed Friend and Family with our young learners in mind, integrating both animations and live teaching, making it more engaging for our learners. Our learners will then be able to learn English through interesting stories and the characters' interactions with our teachers.
Our videos focus on developing the 4 skills needed in learning English, namely listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Our curriculums are then designed thematically for our learners to build up their language and skills.
The lessons gently introduce students to the Cambridge English Pre-A1 Starters topics through various activities and test-style practices. These include vocabulary and grammar tasks, which are relatable to learners' everyday life. With the constant recycling of language and test task types, learners will eventually be guided towards the test level.
We also aim to provide an opportunity for language practice by engaging learners' interest in literature stories. Through an exploration of meaningful, imaginative, and interactive stories, learners are able to develop their critical and creative thinking, emotional literacy, and social skills. Ultimately, we are confident that our learning series will be able to build the confidence needed in our learners to speak the language. We want to welcome you to embark on this fun journey of learning English together with Fred and family and our teachers. See you in the videos. Goodbye.